Hi, I'm Brad's Vintage Collection, and today I'm doing my top 50 card video that so many YouTubers have been doing. I love these videos every year, and so far this year I've had a chance to watch 5 of them. I've watched Jake of Wax Pack Wisdom, John 3D80s Kid, Chris from Missouri, Mike Baseball Collector, only 51 to 100 at this point, but Mike, I'll get to the rest of them, and JT of JT's Vintage Card Room. I always leave a lot of comments when I watch these videos because they're my favorite videos for the year, and I like to talk about the cards. I think a lot of the YouTubers probably just skim what I write because I write probably too much, but love these videos and excited to do my first one. When I looked at my list, I've never put my cards together by value. I've never looked at what my top 50 most valuable cards are till this week when I was putting this together. And I think the list kind of fits my collection. It's primarily 1948 to 1968, and I'm only missing 3 years of that run, which kind of fits what I was setting out to do when I first started collecting. I wanted to kind of have a nice cross-representative of Hall of Famers of each year in the Bowman and Topps era. And later on, I think inspired by people like Chris and Mike, I wanted to get them all and hopefully work toward getting all the Hall of Fame cards from that era. I'll probably never make it, but it's fun to work on that list. And my want list is anyone that I don't have. There's 10 rookie cards on the list, which I think fits my collection. I like rookie cards, but it's never been my big focus. So 10 out of 50 seems about right. 18 SGC and 32 PSA, so it shows me being slab-gnostic. 6 non-mainstream oddball type cards in the list, which shows that I kind of stray all over the place in the golden era. Only 4 pre-war cards, which is kind of where I am right now. I never did pre-war until some YouTubers inspired me and kind of demystified it. And thanks to Dave Blue Jacket 66, Orlando Collector's Dream, John Mangini, and Rick of Rick's Vintage Oddball Cards, you guys did a great job helping me feel comfortable going into pre-war. And these cards probably wouldn't be in my collection without you guys and some of the other YouTubers. And as Chris from Missouri said, this isn't a flex. Yes, my cards are high grade. I've been trying to find cards like this since I was a kid, and during pre-internet, when you basically had local shows, you'd find one every 6 or 7 show that looked really, really strong. My dad was a coin collector and taught my brother and I when we started collecting to look for strong cards. So the cards in my collection are the ones I've been looking for all my life that I either couldn't afford or a lot of times couldn't even find. So collecting this way is fun for me. That being said, I hadn't looked at values of my cards in over a year and a half, and some of them have kind of shocked me as I've looked at these, and there's probably some of these on this list that if I could find the right card at a slightly lower grade, I'd probably downgrade and use the funds to fill some of my holes. So it'll be interesting to see how this evolves over the year. I've probably rambled way too long, so without further ado, I'm going to show my top 50 cards. So number 50 is the 1966 Willie Mays, and I elected to do a slideshow. I started trying to record these cards. I got all the high dollar ones from the safe deposit box and started filming, but there's so many that are different sized and landscape and portrait. I just thought a slideshow would work better, so I just rescanned all 50 cards so they'd be easy for me to find. And I'm going with scans of the cards instead of showing the actual cards. 1966 Willie Mays was really at the top of my want list since I've been probably 14 and got the Topps book. It was my favorite of the 60s Mays cards, and it went right to the top of my list. And if you remember, the old Beckett monthlies had an exclamation point next to certain cards, which meant condition sensitive, and this one had that exclamation point. I think most of the number 1 cards did, so I just never found the right one. Going to years and years of shows, including a national in the late 80s and the early 90s with this is kind of number 1 on my want list. So when I got this one, I was very, very excited and happy to have this as my number 50 because it's been a card I was after long before finally getting this one. Next is Ernie Banks. There's 3 Ernie Banks cards on the list. I have the full Ernie Banks run and have expanded into some other things. If you haven't seen my video on my Ernie Banks collection, I'd encourage you to watch it. I really am proud of that collection. And the 58 is one of my favorite Banks cards because it has the white piping on the hat, which the Cubs only wore for 1 season in 1958 and 59, or 2 seasons, 1958 and 59. So that hat being on there must have been a really recent picture, or maybe something that kind of showed it off, but I kind of like that it has the white piping on the hat. Number 48 is one of the rookie cards on the list, and it's the Orlando Cepeda rookie. And this card, when I saw it, I just um, couldn't believe the centering and the crisp white borders on this card. And I was looking for a Cepeda rookie because I just think it's a really cool picture with him doing the stretch from first base, and it's kind of a departure from most 1958s. It's kind of like the Topps T206 portrait set, but in this one, it's kind of a faux action shot, and I like that Cepeda's doing the stretch from first base, and I think it's a really cool looking card. Next is 1955 Willie Mays, and there's a couple 55 high numbers on the list. These have gotten quite expensive, that high number series, and Mays happens to be in that series. There's a lot of Willie Mays cards on this list. Mays is one of my favorite players. He was my dad's favorite player, so I grew up listening to how great Willie Mays was, and so I've gravitated to his cards kind of my whole life. So having a lot of Willie Mays cards kind of makes sense for this list. And the 55 Mays is one of my favorites. It's just a beautiful card. I like the swinging image. I like the face image, which is the same as his 54, 5, and 6. But I think the blue gradiated background looks really great on this card. Next up is 1963 Yogi Berra. And this is one of the cards that I got from fellow collector friends, and I think 16 cards on the list were private sales from people that I've gotten to know in the hobby over the years. So foster those relationships. A lot of the great cards can come from people who are moving on, and they're happy to sell to a collector knowing it's going to a home that appreciates it and would rather sell it to someone they know than maybe a dealer or sometimes an auction house. So those relationships are important, and this is one of the cards that I got through one of my hobby friends. Next is 1964 Stand-Up Mays. I'm slowly, glacially working on the 64 Stand-Up Hall of Fame run. I think I've only got 7 so far, but Mays is my favorite one, and when I saw this card on eBay from the Lionel Carter collection, Lionel Carter is known for just having cards that have superior color. He made these books with the corners for pictures, and he made his own binders, and they basically sat in the binders and shelves and didn't get a lot of sunlight. So all of his cards just have this amazing color. And of my 64 stand-ups, this is just like another level than my other ones, and it's just a really beautiful card. I don't think the picture does it justice, but the 64 stand-up set has really grown on me over the years, and I think it's got really cool pictures of some of the players like Mays, Clemente, and Aaron, and photos that aren't really used elsewhere for Topps. So some pretty cool stuff. Next up is the first mantle on the list. It's the 54 Bowman mantle. I am really close on the 54 Bowman set. I just need Hodges. When I started the Bowman Hall of Fame run, Hodges wasn't a Hall of Famer, and I need the elusive Ted Williams, which was a card as a kid that we all thought was super, super rare, and then as the internet came out, we figured out that it's not as rare as we were led to believe by dealers in the 1980s, but still a tough card and still one that I haven't found the right one yet, but really was happy when I found this mantle card. I think it's centered nice. I think the image is crystal clear on it, and excited to have this one in my collection. This one was one of those cards, when you see it, you just can't stop thinking about it. And I collect Lou Boudreau for 2 reasons. Number one, he went to University of Illinois, which is my alma mater, and played baseball for U of I. And then number 2, he was the Cubs color man on the radio growing up. And there were a ton of family outings where my dad would bring the transistor radio, and he'd have it by his lawn chair when we were outside. And I'd sit near my dad so I could listen to the Cub game. And it was Vince Lloyd and Lou Boudreau. So I heard the good kid as I was growing up, and he was part of Cub baseball for me. So when I saw this particular card, I just couldn't believe it. I've never seen a Boudreau card from 49 Leaf that looked even close to this nice. And it's one of those that I saw it in an auction catalog, and I just thought about it, and was really, really excited when I won it, because I don't think I'll ever see one like this again, and it's really exciting to have it in my collection. Next up is 66 Clemente. Love having a really strong Clemente from his MVP season. I've always liked this photo of him. He just looks pensive in the way he's looking. bat on his shoulder and just looks deep in thought. I have no idea what Roberto's thinking in this picture, but it's a picture I can look at a long time and just wonder. And I really think Topps did a great job capturing him. And it's awesome that this is his MVP year. Next up is one of the 4 pre-war cards on the list, and it's a T202 speaker angle and angle. And I really like the Hassan triple folder T202 set. It's a really good introduction into pre-war for me because it's cheaper than a lot of the other cards to get some of the A-list Hall of Famers. And as someone who's used to high grade, I can find them in 6s and 7s more readily than a lot of cards from that era as I get used to lower and lower grades going into pre-war. So it's a good bridge set for me, and I just have loved the way it looked. Even as a kid, when I pass a case that had these in it, I'd always stop and look, and I just loved the 3 photos. I loved when Upper Deck did the baseball assistance team set that kind of was an homage to this as a kid. And it's really cool to have a few of these actual cards in my collection now, and getting a Triz speaker card was a great thrill for me. Next up is a 68 3D Tony Perez, and as a kid, I don't know how many people had the Beckett annuals before there was a Beckett monthly, but in the middle there'd be about 4 color photos, and they were all from the collection of Barry Halper, and every year it had the 68 3D Clemente, and I just loved that card. I would look at the picture of that card when it wasn't easy to find pictures of cards, and just thought it was like the greatest looking card, and it was years and years before I saw one in person. And the 68 Clemente got to a price point that it just wasn't something that I was willing to go for, but I did want one of the 3D cards, and I wanted a Hall of Famer, so the Tony Perez was perfect for me. When I saw this in an auction catalog, I knew I was going to go for it. It wasn't one of those I nuclear bid it, because they come up often enough that I know I get a few chances a year, but when I finally won one, I was super, super excited. Next is another mantle, a 58 mantle, and this is more a traditional 58 than the Cepeda. It's more like the Banks, where it's got the great portrait of the player, and I think this is just a really great looking mantle card. And when I saw this one in a 7, I thought it was perfect. I don't talk grades a lot, but to me, the centering and the corners on this card just made it a bargain for the grade, and I was very excited to be able to acquire this one. This one's another private collection card that I was able to get. This is one of them that I'll probably try to downgrade if I can find the right Mays MVP card in a lower grade. It's gotten really, really expensive, and while I love the 61 MVPs, I've never liked the Mays because of the hat not having the logo on it. It's kind of like the precursor to the pajama cards, and it's just never been one of my favorite Mays cards. But I happened to get this. This is another one I got from a private sale, and when this one became available, I just thought the card was just beautiful and perfect, and I've had this for a long, long time. But it's gotten to a price point that I'll probably try to move on to something a little bit lower grade and put this into something else. So we'll see if this is still on my list next year. Next up is a 61 Billy Williams rookie, and this is a really, really tough card to find without snow. There's always snow in his sleeve, and there's a lot of times snow in the background, and there's a lot of time dots in the nameplate on the bottom. So this is plagued with print issues, and finding this one that had no print issues took me a long, long time. So of the 9s on this list, a lot of them I'm looking to downgrade, but the Williams kind of isn't one of them. Just really excited as a Cub fan to have this copy of the Billy Williams rookie, and I just think it's a great shot of Billy with Wrigley Field behind it, and you can actually kind of see where my season tickets are kind of behind Billy Williams toward the end of that first deck. So really cool image for me, and I like the 61 star rookie on it. So this one's pretty much all of these are a keeper except for a few 9s that I might downgrade, but this one's definitely a forever card. Next is the favorite card in my collection. This is one I've shown on the channel a couple times, and it's the Tinker to Evers to Chance T202 triple folder. And when I found out this card existed as a kid, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't imagine getting all 3 Cub legends from the World Series runs of the early 1900s all on one card, and it's the right order of Tinker to Evers to Chance for the double play, so it goes with the poem, and it's a beautiful card, and I'm very excited to have this in my collection, and this is my very favorite card that I own. Next up is a 65 Joe Morgan, and this is another one that I might move to a lower grade. The nines on this have really gotten expensive. I bought it in an eBay auction a long time ago, I think when SGC first went to this holder, so I've had it for a while. I really like the card, and I think Joe Morgan's rookie is an important card, but for this to be number 35 in my collection just kind of seems a little bit high compared to where I would have expected this card to be valued. Next is the 53 Bowman Warren Spawn, and this card just is breathtaking. I don't think, hats off to Alex, love the 53 Bowman set, and I don't know if there's a better looking card in 53 Bowman than this Spawn, and it just, when I found this copy at a national, I was so excited and had to buy it because it just was everything I was looking for. And 53 Bowmans, they kind of just, I don't know, they put me at peace when I look at them. Just something about the photography and the color tones, and just love looking through my 53 Bowman cards. And the Spawn is probably my favorite looks-wise of the ones that I have. Next up, I do have a 55 high-grade Hall of Fame run, and this is the Maze, another private collection purchase from a collector friend of mine, and he's been trying to get this one back ever since. And luckily, having the 55 Hall of Fame run is a good excuse not to sell it back to him. But when I saw this card, my jaw dropped. It was the best Maze 55 that I'd ever seen, and it was really hard to come up with a price because, believe it or not, an 8 in either SGC or PSA hadn't sold for 2.5 years at the point when this went for sale. Things were a lot less fluid back then. Most people were just buying and holding, and cards didn't change hands 5 times before they got to their home as often. But so I really paid up for this, and I was nervous that I way overpaid. And then when one finally went for sale about 9 months later, it proved out that I did okay with it. And then over a long haul, I really did okay with it. But beautiful card. I love this Maze card. I love the 55 Maze and the 55 Aaron, particularly out of the 55 Bowman set. And I'm one of the people who loves this love or hate it set. And this Maze to me is definitely one of the favorites in my collection. Next up, I did do a video on my 58 Hires root beer set with tabs. I do have the whole set, and the Maze made the list in my top 50 cards. And this set, I talk a lot about in the video. Could have been the 56 Bowman set, and it was designed by Bowman, and then Topps used it for the Hires root beer set. If you want to know more about the set, I go pretty deep into it on that video. Next up is the Johnston Cookie Hank Aaron rookie, and I do have the whole Johnston Cookie 54 set. I've got a high grade Spawn and a high grade Matthews that I already had, and then I kept getting outbid on Aaron cards, and found out that I could actually get it cheaper in an auction buying the whole set than I could just buying the Aaron. So I won a set at one of the auction houses, and then I just sold off the Spawn and the Matthews because the ones I already had were higher grade in the last CIA auction. So Theo and CIA did a good job with those cards and got me my money really quickly. So was excited to have those find a new home, since I already had nicer ones than came with the set. But I bought the set primarily for this Aaron card, and I really love having the alternate Aaron, Hank Aaron rookie, and I just think it's a great looking card. Next up is the 56 Ted Williams, and when I get to the second card, there were 2 cards I bought back-to-back tables at the National, I don't know, probably mid-2000s National, maybe 2006, 2007, somewhere in that range. And back-to-back tables, I found 2 of the cards high on my list. One of them was this Williams, and I've been looking for the right 56 Williams for a while. It's plagued with horrible centering, and it's got a lot of print defects in it. Right? And this one just was the right one for me, and was very excited when I got this card. I've had this one for a very long time. Next up is the second Clemente on the list, and I believe there's only 2 Clementes, and this is the 60 Clemente. I've always liked batting cage shots. I think partially because the 74 Carew was one of the first really nice cards, nice old cards I had as a kid, and that was a batting cage card. So I've always been partial to those. So the Clemente, I really, really like this card, and I like the shot of him at the batting cage. So it's always been one of my favorite Clemente cards, and I was excited when I found this one. Next up, another private collection purchase. This one's the Bauer mantle. I bought this from a collector friend who moved on from it. It's funny, mantle's only barely in the picture, which makes it a very, very expensive card. But I love how Berra and Bauer are cracking up and seem to be having a great time, and Mantle's there serious, so I was always wondering if they're laughing at Mantle's expense in this photo. But I think it's a great looking card, and I love that Yogi's shin protectors are on this, and he wears those same shin protectors on his 53 Bowman card as well. Next up is one of my more recent purchases. It's a 55 Jackie Robinson, and finding this one in a 7.5 is like the dream card for me. I love getting the half grades, and the 7.5 are really a great price for a card that to me is an 8 in all respects. I hardly ever see a 7.5 that I don't think should be graded higher, so I'll take the bargain price on this Jackie and the others I have in my collection, and I was really excited to have this. I like the full diamond better than the partial diamond for some reason. It just bothers me that part of the diamond's cut off. I know that both of them are in existence, and it was double printed, and it's the two different prints, but I really like having the full diamond version as well. Next up is a card that I probably overpaid for. It's the highest graded, as a Banks collector, it's the highest graded Venezuelan 62 Banks in either PSA or SGC. And I had to show the back of this card where you see the Spanish writing, especially under the cartoon. That's what makes these Venezuelans cool. And also the backs are oftentimes have paper loss on it because they made binders for these to be glued into, and most people glued them into their binders. So finding this card was really exciting to me, and it's one of them where I didn't sleep the day before the auction ended wondering if I was going to get this card or not. So this was another one kind of like the Boudreaux that just really stuck with me, and it was really a card that I wanted to really try to acquire. I'm very proud of it and very excited to have this one in my collection. This is the second card. I bought it back-to-back tables at that National where I bought the Williams, and I wanted to get a 55 Berra. It was a pricey card at the time, and now it's a really, really pricey card. The 55 high numbers have always been expensive, and it was one of those cards that I just loved the picture of so much, especially the batting pose. I just think it's a really great second image of Yogi on this card, and I wanted it, and I hadn't bought it because of it being a high number and the high price. And at that National, this was one of the cards that was kind of higher on my list, and when I saw this version of it, I was excited to snap it up. And at the time, it just felt like I paid so much for it, and now it's worth way more than that. And this is one of them I was quite frankly surprised when I looked up the price to do this list. So I'm excited to have this Yogi in my collection. Back-to-back Yogis, and unlike the previous one, this is one that I may downgrade. I bought this a long time ago on eBay, and it really is a great copy. There's nothing wrong with it. It's beautiful. Everything's great about it. The dark images have no snow. It's centered well. It's really clean and crisp. But man, this card's gotten expensive. And if I can find the right 8, I could turn this into something that I need for my collection. So this one is one that I might be willing to move on from if I can find a good copy in a lower grade, because this one's really shot up in price. Next is a cornerstone card in my collection, 53 Satchel Paige. I went to 2 or 3 Nationals looking for the right Satchel Paige and never found it. I found one, and it was at 707's table, and he would not budge on the price. And I wish I had bought that one, because it was a beautiful, beautiful card, and it was, I don't know, he was just too high on it. I wasn't willing to pay that, and I probably ended up paying more for this card than I did that card years later. But this was a really, really tough card to find, and then as the price went up, they started to surface again. But for a couple of year period, you didn't really see any nice 53 Paiges. Next is a 54 Jackie. This was the first Jackie card I bought. And I went to the National looking for a Jackie card. I didn't know which one I was going to get. I was open to the 54, 55, or 56. And the 54, it just, I don't know, there's something about the yellow background and the way Jackie pops on it that it's just really, really a cool card. And then the actual photograph of him fielding in it just really um, has always captured my attention. And I'm probably not ever looking at the camera on this because I'm looking at the slides and at my card. So this is one that I can look at all day. Next up is another from my 55 Bowman Hall of Fame run. There's 3 of them that made the top 50. This is the Aaron, and I just love this fielding image of Hank Aaron, just him looking into the distance and in that crouch. And it's just a unique picture. There's not another Aaron that looks anything like this. And both Aaron and Mays have a similar shot in the 55 Bowmans, but I think it works for both of them, and I think it makes for cards that are very memorable and very different than anything else that they have. Next is the 61 Mickey Mantle, and this one I bought to complete my 61, or because I was going for a 61 Hall of Fame run. I probably overpaid for this one. I think I bought this at the absolute peak at a national, and I don't know that it's worth, when I looked it up today, what I paid for it, but it'll get back there eventually. And it's a beautiful copy. Again, no snow. I really like the color on this card. And I think this Mantle card has really grown on me over the years, and it's become one of my favorite cards of his from the 60s. Next is one that I can thank Greg of Midlife Sports Cards for. He showed last year at Strongsville. I didn't go to Strongsville, but he showed a pre-video of Ash's table, and Ash had this 54 Red Heart Musial. I've been looking for one, so I reached out to him and was able to work a deal, and I bought it before the show opened. So if you were looking for one of these in Strongsville last year, I stole it from you ahead of time. So I was really excited to see this and get this. I love this card. I love the red background. It's one of 2 museals on the list, and they're my 2 favorite museals, and I go back and forth between which one I like better. Actually, there's 3 museals on the list, but the 54 and the 52 to me are the best museal cards. Next is the Al Kaline rookie. Another one I bought from a private sale. I love that it's got the rough cut on the left-hand side. I think that's really cool. And you can see that a little more in person than you can in the picture. This one I bought to celebrate a promotion at work. So this was, at the time, by far my most expensive card, and it was my first 50s Hall of Fame rookie. So this was a huge card for me when I bought it. Still a huge card for me, and it's one I'm really, really proud of, and I get excited every time I look at it still. And I just think that the red color on it is better than 90% of them that you'll find. Next, another private acquisition, and I bought this one in the 60 Mays together at the same time from the same person. He was selling a few high-grade cards, and the 2 Mazes caught my eyes, and I just really like... The 59 set has grown on me. I just like the fact that it's a little circle, and you get just this image of a player in the middle of the color. I like the lowercase font for the name. I think it really looks nice, and the logo in the corner. I just really like the 59 set, and I think this Maze is just a gorgeous card. This is the last of the 55 Bowmans that made the list, and this is the Mickey Mantle card. This one is... I don't like as well as the Aaron and the Maze, but I do like it. It's a different image of Mantle. Some people think it's not him. I've heard rumors it's Duffy Sternweiss, but I really believe that it has to be Mantle, because when he was signing at shows, he would have said something about how even a card without my picture on it is this expensive. So I think he would have got a kick out of that, and he would have said something if it wasn't him. Next, number 15 is the 52 Bowman Stan Musial. And this one, my brother found at a national. He pointed it out to me in a case. He's like, you have to get that card. And I saw it, and I was in love with it. And it was priced very fairly, but I had to offer a little bit less. And they had to talk to somebody because it wasn't the dealer's card. And he said he would take my offer. And if he hadn't, I would have bought it anyway. But love this musial card. Love the colors on it. I think this is the best card in the 52 Bowman set. I just really excited to have this one. Here's the maze I bought along with the 59. This is the 60 maze. I had a 60 maze in my childhood collection that was one of my favorite cards. I still have it. Probably would grade about a 6 today. But when I saw this one and I was able to bundle it with the 59, which I really wanted to get a better price, it was kind of a no-brainer for me. Here's the 56 mantle. I do have a 56 Hall of Fame run, and it took me a long time to find the right mantle. I wasn't going to pay up for an 8, so the perfect card would have been a really nice 7, or even better, a really nice 6.5. And when I saw this one, I just like, this is my mantle. Was so excited to see this card and get this card and be able to work a deal for it. So happy to have this one in my collection. Next up is a Jackie Robinson rookie, and this is a card that I have to pinch myself that I own. As a kid, I couldn't imagine owning a Jackie Robinson rookie, and I remember when I got my first Jackie Robinson card, the 54 that I showed earlier, how excited I was to have a Jackie Robinson card in my collection, and to have this one is just unreal to me, and super excited to have it. I love this card and very proud of it, and it's number 12 on the list. Next is a 52 Bowman Yogi Berra in a high grade. This is one that if I found the right 8, I'd probably downgrade this one as well. It's a number 1 card, so it's a very tough card in the set. And it's a great card. It's perfectly centered. It's got great registration, but man, it's gotten expensive. And if I could find something a little cheaper and move into something I need, I'd probably do it on this one. Next is the 67 Tom Seaver, and if any of you have Card Ladder, look this one up and let me know if they got rid of the last sale. This would be number 1 if I believe the last sale, which I don't. I just deleted it from the activity in VCP when I looked at what the value was. It just, the last one sold for a stupid, crazy price that I don't think could possibly be real. So this comes in at number 10, ignoring that sale. It would come in at number 1 if I actually thought that was a real sale. But anyway, I'm excited to have this card. The 67 high numbers are tough. Getting the Seaver and Crew rookies were dreams of mine as a kid. And when this one became available, this is another one from a private sale, I had to jump on it. And this one is, I just love the card. Next up, another private sale, and this one was another one I got to celebrate a promotion. This one was the promotion where I got to move back to Chicago from Kansas City, and this card was available among a few other cards from the same person who was trying to sell to get into something else, and I bought the DiMaggio. This was actually my first pre-war card and my only pre-war card for a long time, but having a DiMaggio in my collection was something I dreamed about. I read his a really good biography on DiMaggio shortly before getting this card, so I was kind of really thinking about DiMaggio, and having this present itself as something I could get was super exciting for me. Next up, thank you, Mike, Baseball Collector. This came from the Grail collection, and was really excited to get this one. Mike gave me his phone number as just a YouTube commenter, so we could try to work out a deal. And I remember him calling me and telling me the car was mine. And then when I got it, I called up Mike and I told him how excited I was that the red bled through to the back so strongly. And he said, yeah, that when we saw it, we were excited too, because that's how we knew that the Gaudis in this collection were real. And this was one of them that really had that bleed through that the Gaudis are known for. So I was really excited to get this one. It's the number 92, not the more expensive one. I don't care. Love this card, and super proud to own it, and I still can't believe that I own a Lou Gehrig card. Next up is one of the other ones that I'm trying to downgrade. This one has gotten really expensive, and I'm looking for the right 8, and then this one I'll probably let go. I think I can buy something really significant for my collection that'll mean more to me than this Yastrzemski. I mean, I love this card. I love all my cards, but this is one of them that just moved up. A lot of the 60s 9s that I bought have really gone up in price to the point where I definitely wouldn't pay this today. So I'm weighing whether I want to keep it in my collection or whether I want to look for something that's still really nice and then move on. And I think this is one of those I'm going to do that with. There's another private sale, and this was actually a consolation prize. A deal fell through where I gave someone what they were asking for a 1955 Willie Mays, and gave his ask right away. We had a deal, and then at the last minute, he decided he didn't want to sell it, and he felt really bad. So he's like, "Well, I've got another Mays card I can sell you instead, because I feel bad about backing out on our deal after we agreed on a price." And so he showed me the 62 Mays, and he gave it to me for a really fair price because he felt bad about what happened with the 55 Mays. So was really excited to get this one. I think it's one of the better copies I've ever seen. The border on this is so beautiful, and it's really a great image of Mays, his smiling face and him holding out the bat, and I just really love this card. Next is one or two huge purchases I made at this year's National. I had a really good year at work, and I had a nice bonus that came shortly before it, so I was able to buy a couple big cards, and one of them was pre-bought in a private sale, and this one I found at the show, and it wasn't as high on my list as a lot of cards I was looking for, but it was one of them when I saw it, and was able to get it for a price that I thought was fair. I just had to have it. I just think this is one of Mantle's best cards. Owning a 52 Bowman Mantle is just something that I never would have thought would be something I'd have in my collection, and it's just so exciting to have this card, and would love to get the Mays to go with it at some point. Next is a Stan Musial, and there's a 68 Hall of Fames that I'm really, really close on, and every National I say I'm going to go buy a Ryan rookie, and every National I find something else that I buy instead, and one of them was this Bowman Stan Musial. I just couldn't pay slightly more for a Ryan rookie when I saw this one at the time. I think this has moved way past the Ryan rookie, but just love this card. I love the black and white image of the 48 Bowmans. I really like the cardinal hat, the blue hat with the red that you can kind of see, and the old red bird on it, and just the young picture of Stan Musial. Just really, really excited to have this, and this is the third Musial that makes my top 50 lists, and I think he's one of the most underappreciated players in baseball, and that's hard to say as a Cub fan. This was the other big purchase at the National. This was a private sale. I'd agreed on this and paid for it when I got there. This one, I worked back and forth for years. It was offered to me once, and I turned it down stupidly, probably a decade ago, at a price that I wish I would have bought it at. And then later on, he offered it to me again, and we couldn't quite come to a price. And then he offered to me again when it was at its peak, and I offered him more than I ended up getting it for at that time, or what I ended up getting for it, and he said no. And then we finally came to a deal this last year. So I've been trying to get this particular Aaron card for a while, and I'm very excited to have both Aaron rookies in my collection. And when I was a kid, we went through one of my dad's friends' collection that he still had, and he had an Aaron rookie in it, and holding that card was something that was a dream of mine. I think I was 14 at the time, and holding an Aaron rookie in my hand, I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm holding this, and owning one now is just a dream. Next up is the 53 Willie Mays. This one is probably overgraded. I don't say that about a lot of my cards, and at the time I was working on a deal for this from a collector friend, and then this one came up at eBay for a price that was really, really fair, and I went with the lower grade of the two cards. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this card. It's a beautiful, beautiful card, and this one has just gone through the moon since I bought it. Never could afford this one today. I wouldn't put the money into what this is, but this is not one I'm looking to get rid of because I just love this image of Willie Mays, and I'm just ecstatic that I own this, and I bought it before it became an untouchable card. And then number one in my collection, it's the most I ever paid for a card. It was getting the right Ernie Banks rookie for my run. This is a card that I dreamed of having as a Cub fan, and finding one with top to bottom centering is nearly impossible. And this is about as good a copy as I've ever seen. This is another one that came from a private sale, and I saw this card in his collection, and he knew that I was a big Banks fan, and he knew that I was looking for a Banks rookie, and I had told him that if he was ever going to part with it to let me know, and I would pay up for it, and I did. I paid really fair for this card, but I knew it was the right one for me, and couldn't be happier to have it, and it's cool that it's still the number one value-wise in my collection. And having a Banks rookie is just a dream of mine, and I really am proud of these cards. Hope you can hear the excitement in my voice as I talk about them, as I look at my cards, as getting them out of the safety deposit box and putting all these 50 together was really amazing and a fun thing for me to do. And if you've got a channel, I encourage you to do it. As Chris said, it's not a flex. It's just a way to look at your best cards, talk about your best cards, and share your hobby enjoyment. And I hope that came through in this video. If you've gotten to this point, thanks for watching the whole thing. Even if you've skimmed and kind of just looked at the card and barely heard me talk, I appreciate it as well that you looked at my cards. I'm Brad's Vintage Collection. If you're not excited to add the card to your collection, you bought the wrong card, and these are 50 cards I'm excited to have in my collection. So thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. If you like this video, please consider subscribing to my channel. And if you post a top 50, I'll make sure to watch it. I love these videos, and this is my favorite time of year on YouTube card content, is seeing people's prizes of their collection. So thanks so much for watching.